I love Outer Wilds. Now that's a strong statement, but it's true. I tried this game on a whim not too long ago, and I found it incredibly enchanting and endearing. And being that I think it's so great, I do want to encourage everyone to play it. However, I often run into two issues when I try to tell people about this game. The first is that a lot of people confuse Outer Wilds with The Outer Worlds, a similarly titled game that came out at roughly the same time. So I need to specify that no, I'm not talking about the role-playing game developed by Obsidian. That's a completely different game. The other problem that I run into is that, well, I don't want to tell anybody what's in the game, because the less I say about it, the better your experience will be. You'll be able to discover everything on your own, and that's the majority of the fun. But it's difficult to convince people that they should play a game if you can't talk about the game itself. At the very least, I can talk about the basic premise. You are the newest astronaut at the local space program, and you are being given your very own spaceship to explore the entire solar system, once you get your launch codes from ground control. Along the way, you can talk to some random villagers, and they'll all suggest places you might like to visit, or mysteries you could look into.
Hey, did you hear? One of the other astronauts has been missing for quite a long time now. Maybe you can find them during your travels?
Hey, here's a strange statue that was brought to the museum recently. It's from a different planet. Perhaps there's other statues that you could find there. As you head into the museum, you'll see a number of exhibits that also might stoke your curiosity. And we keep finding these alien bones throughout the entire solar system. But why can't we find these aliens anymore? Are they in hiding? Or did they all die out? And here are some ancient ruins that we found, with strange alien writings on them. And once you finally get the codes and hop in your ship and start flying around, you'll stumble upon even more intriguing things. Why is that moon smoking? What is that orbiting around the green planet? What are those strange signals being emitted? What about those signals? And this is what Outer Wilds is all about. There's nobody telling you where to go or what to do. There's no proper quests. It's a game full of mysteries and secrets just waiting to be discovered. Once you have the launch codes, you can visit any planet, investigate any rumor, or meet up with other astronauts and share your findings. The entire universe is yours to explore on your terms and no one else's. It's unrestricted freedom. But you won't just find answers out there in space, you'll also find more questions begging to be answered. There's a few really big riddles out there, and you'll need to solve them piece by piece. You'll be following a trail of breadcrumbs and picking up clues, and that will lead you to make some truly astounding discoveries. So yeah, it's a really great game, not to mention beautiful and awe-inspiring. There are some amazing sights to see, but I can't show them to you because I don't want to spoil the surprise. The game is an astounding experience from start to finish, and if you're having a great time with it, I also recommend the Echoes of the Eye DLC. Not only is it of a similarly high quality, but it's a full and hearty experience on its own. It's basically Outer Wilds 2, every bit as good as the main campaign. Now, although I would say that everybody should play this game, I do believe that some people will struggle more than others. Not only do you need to have a fairly sharp wit to piece things together, but you also need to be pretty good at video games in general. The base game has some tricky and anxiety-inducing sections that require you to navigate a maze with limited time. I found this section quite frustrating, and it was decidedly the low point of the game for me. And unfortunately, this was the first location I chose to visit, which gave me a bad first impression on the game as a whole. It almost made me quit outright, and I imagine there were quite a few people who had a similar experience and bowed out early. But thank goodness I stuck with it and gave it a second chance, because I truly was able to enjoy the rest of the game. The Echoes of the Eye DLC unfortunately had an equally difficult part that required me to navigate a few buildings in nearly total darkness. I was not a fan of that section. Still, these are ultimately small blemishes on an otherwise phenomenal experience. There are so many eureka moments where things just snap together. You'll be staring at a puzzle for minutes upon minutes, and then suddenly, it will all make sense to you, like you've achieved a higher level of clairvoyance. And that sensation feels so good. And I've said it before, but the game looks beautiful, and the music is great. It's serene and calming, but it also knows when to ignite a sense of wonder, or perhaps take on a more haunting tone. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but if you think that it might appeal to you, you should definitely give it a chance, because it might end up being your favorite game of all time. There aren't very many other games like this out there. It is a very unique experience.